Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rewilding Wellness Wednesdays. I am Dr. Christy Vanacore, and this week I am recording this podcast on audio. It is not on video and it is not live, just due to some technical difficulties as I am shifting platforms. So I apologize for the inconvenience and also appreciate your patience as I am trying to do all I can to make this experience the best for all of you and all of us. Today's episode is going to be all about kind of this continued idea of why it's important for us to heal on a multi-dimensional level, and how oftentimes the very thing that is standing in our way, it's like the missing link of why we can't heal this final thing that we're dealing with, or why we're stuck and we're spinning and spiraling, either dealing with the same physical symptoms or the same emotional issues, is because of this ancestral trauma and weight that we carry. So in tonight's episode, I'm going to be talking all about that. And this week on my Facebook page, I shared a very personal story about my Grammy. If you didn't have a chance to read it, please do. I posted this, let's see, on, so it was a couple days ago, but it was on called The Weight We Carry, the Threads That Bind Us and the Love That Remains. And I posted a picture of my beautiful Grammy holding me when I was just a little itty bitty. And a little meatball is what I looked like. And I posted this story about how, my relationship with my Grammy and how she's been coming to me a lot in the last couple of weeks, showing herself to me in different signs and synchronicities. And I've been praying in the last couple of weeks to figure out what my blind spot is. The reason why, so many of you know, I have been dealing most recently with mold toxicity that has created a lot of different physiological symptoms in my body, including some weight that can't seem to come off and autoimmune flares that I had dealt with a million years ago and healed, and here we are again. So despite doing everything right, I've been struggling a bit with it. And so I understand that there's this missing link here. And I've also been feeling a lot of heaviness in my chest, a lot of sorrow. And when I connect with it, there's a lot of tears that flow. There's a lot of grief that seems to be there. And I didn't fully understand it. So I've been, connecting with my higher self, connecting with all of my guides, and my Grammy's been showing herself to me. And it was like one morning when I decided to post this story on my Facebook, it was like, hey, wake up. She kind of give me a little like slap in the face, like, hey, I've been trying to show you this and you don't see it. I'm the answer. This is the reason, that basically I've been carrying a lot of grief that is not mine. And a lot of this grief is hers and was her mother's mother. But if you read the post, I wrote about how my Grammy lost one of her sons at the age of 3, and then one of her other sons was deployed, and then she lost her husband, and she just had to keep going, for survival. There was no place to process grief. And Grammy died of lung disease, and the lungs are the organ that carries grief, and the lungs are one of our primary detoxification organs. So here I am wondering why I can't really breathe lately, and why I'm struggling to detoxify, and where I've got all of this sadness coming from. And Grammy was like, hey, wake up. This is the piece you've not been looking at, So it's this understanding. What I want to talk tonight about is this understanding that, we don't just inherit eye color or bone structure. We inherit the stories and the wounds and the unfinished grief of the generations before us. And when unhealed, this ancestral pain stagnates in our biofields, disrupting the signaling, disrupting the flow of the electricity in our bodies. So it clogs our fields, it clouds our breath, it burdens our organs, weighs down our physical vessel, and it allows us to move forward with stress, disconnection, disease, and illness. So it's the invisible inheritance that gets passed through the family lines when pain goes unhealed. And it's coming up for me because I'm the one who has the responsibility to heal it. You know, now is the time, right? It's the time for me to release the ancestral and generational trauma that I've been carrying for Grammy, the heaviness of her broken heart that became my own and that has clogged my own energy fields, making my system really susceptible to illness. So I also posted this week, as you know, many parents, if you're a parent out there, you're getting ready to send your kids back to school. And this is the time of year that all the fear starts about germs. Oh my gosh, kids are germ magnets, germs, 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 germs. And if you've worked with me, you know that I teach all the time that germs are not the thing that makes us sick. Germs are not what makes us sick. Okay. So the thing that makes us sick is the toxins and the traumas and the truths that are buried alive inside of us that compromise our inner terrain. You know, it's all the stagnant sorrow. It's all of the stored fear and the silent voice, the inherited wounds that clog us up and damage us. It's years of lack of light and poisonous pills, injections, EMFs, the frankenfoods, fear-based media, all of it. So germs are everywhere, but they're not the thing that causes illness. Not even the mold that I was exposed to is primarily what causes illness. All of these things only affect us when our terrain, when our inner landscape has already been compromised. So pathogens of any kinds are opportunists. They're not causes. So when our electrical energetic system is compromised, then our physical body is compromised, our immune system, our microbiome, our cellular environments become compromised. On the contrary, when they're strong, our terrain can resist invasion and sustain health. So we have to strengthen the soil of our body. And so there's so much out there about, you know, the detoxes and the cleanses and the pills and all of it. But pills and powders don't do this deeper inner work because our terrain needs to be uncongested from not just the germs, but also the years of uncried tears, unspoken truths, the ancestral burdens that were never ours to carry. So we have to deal with this on every level. We are multidimensional beings, so our healing must be a multidimensional practice, right? On the energetic level, dealing with our biofields so that we can restore life force energy to flow. On the physical level, on the emotional level, mental, spiritual, relational, right? So true health and wellness is not about the hand sanitizers and the vitamins and the smoothies. It's really about cleaning, strengthening, and regenerating our inner terrain on every dimension. Right? So that's what this is about. So I want to talk tonight about some key points related to this sort of ancestral weight that is on our bodies. So maybe you're carrying extra weight on your body. Maybe you're dealing with sickness. Maybe you're dealing with symptoms that no matter what you've tried, just don't seem to go away and doctors can't figure out what's going on. Right? So this is what I'm talking about, right? This weight, this literal and metaphorical weight that we carry is happening on emotional, energetic. It's emotional, it's energetic. It's this ancestral heaviness that's passed down. And it shows up in our bodies as chronic illness, exhaustion, autoimmune flares, weight gain, problems maintaining weight, problems losing weight, any issue with weight. Okay. Why does this matter? Why is this important now to even be talking about? And, I talk about this ad nauseum because it is so urgent. Well, it's urgent because chronic illness in this country alone is at epidemic levels. This is the true epidemic, you guys. Okay. 80%, I would say more than 80% of adults in this country have multiple chronic diseases. Multiple chronic diseases. Okay. 1 in 2 children under the age of 12 are diagnosed with multiple chronic illnesses. 1 in 2 children are medicated for these things. 40% or more of Americans are taking multiple medications for chronic illnesses. 90% of healthcare costs in this country are spent on managing chronic conditions. And, I talk a lot about how our modern lifestyle is a part of this, and it is, okay? It is. Again, we are not sitting in sunlight all day. We're getting blocked from the sun. We're eating food that is not real food. We're being poisoned from synthetic chemicals and vaccines and such. I don't want to go down all of that rabbit hole, but it's more than that. And that's what tonight's episode is about. It's more than just the detrimental effects of our modern lifestyle. We can't just stop there with it. It's even deeper. It's this ancestral inheritance. It's the unprocessed trauma that gets stored and passed on, right? So how does this happen? How does this get stored and passed on? Well, science has shown us that trauma leaves a mark on us and actually influences our genetic expression. This is a field of science known as epigenetics. Okay, that our life experiences influence the way that genes express. So just because, you have a genetic predisposition because someone in your family had something doesn't mean it will express. Energetically, I'm going to use the example of grief here just because that was my personal story with Grammy, right? That grief energetically. So now it's transmitted into my genes. Energetically, it's in my lungs. Emotionally, this sorrow translates into patterns. So this is where through my life, I became the over-responsible one, the over-striving one, right? The one who wore overwhelm like a badge of honor, right? Physically in my body. Again, I'm using myself as an example, but I think that so many will relate because these are my clients. These are the people who I work with every day who are dealing with liver stagnancy so they can't detoxify, autoimmune issues, thyroid disease, weight struggles that diet can't touch, adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, exhaustion, metabolic issues, diabetes, ADHD, anxiety, depression, the list goes on, right? So we have to look at not just, okay, well, who had this in my family, but what else was passed down through these ancestral lines that impacted us on this very root level, right? So for me, I had this realization of like, okay, this weight that I'm carrying, this burden of these toxins really wasn't mine at all. But that's not where it stops, right? Well, this isn't mine. No, but it is my responsibility to heal it. It is my responsibility to tend to the wounds. So if you work with me, I talk about how in allopathic medicine, there's the word treatment. What's the treatment? What's the treatment? I call it, what's the tending? How are we going to shift from treating to tending? How am I going to tend to my system on all levels beyond the physical? So I can unburden myself energetically, ancestrally, emotionally, then physically, right? Can't just start with the physical. And that's why most practices, programs, pills, protocols don't work because they start and stop at the physical, right? It's the same thing with mindset work. right? This is why for things that were typically considered mental health issues, mental health treatment alone doesn't work because it's rooted in something much, much deeper, much, much deeper. So when we talk about something like detoxification, right, we're not only talking about, cleanses and saunas and diets, but we're talking about clearing away these ancestral burdens that have festered inside of us. Because when we heal ourselves, we heal all those that came before us and all those who came after. When we learn how to breathe fully, we breathe for all of those who could not. When we release the burdens of the toxic weight, we are lightening the load for our children and all of the future generations. So it is our responsibility. So I always say, we may not have been the ones to create the wounds, but we are the ones responsible for healing it. That is part of the curriculum of our soul's evolution, part of why we are here. So I want to talk for a couple of moments about, being I'm not recording this live, I'm not, obviously there's not going to be time left for question and answers, which I hate. I love to interact with you guys, but, please get in touch with me after you listen to this. Let me know how this lands for you. Let me know what questions you have. Okay. But, so this is going to be shorter, but I want to get to some practices that you can utilize in your life to begin the process of doing this work. Remember, you guys, that we are here to activate our inner physician, right? We are all self-healing beings. It is my job to be the way shower, to show you the way back to your inner physician. I am not here to heal you. Only you can heal you, right? So some of the tools that I use in this work of guiding people back to their self-healing capacities are the 4 universal healing salves that were spoken about and taught and passed on from our elders, the ancient ones. In indigenous cultures, they're still using these tools today: singing, dancing, storytelling, silence. So when we talk about singing, we're talking about sound. We're talking about the ways that vibration releases anything that is stuck, right? Anything that is stuck, anything that is stagnant inside of us. Movement through dancing. Dancing can be literal here or metaphorical, right? Embodied movement is really what we're talking about. This is where we shake off any stagnant energy and we get deep into the tissues, into our connective tissue, into the fascia, which is what stores the trauma and the sequestered emotion. When we talk about storytelling, we're talking about the voice of the lineage. So we begin to speak the story out loud. The narratives that shaped us, we begin to speak it out loud so that we break this cycle of secrecy. We shine the light on it. And that also gives us an invitation to rewrite it. And then when we talk about silence, we're talking about the deep listening that is only possible when we rest and we remove ourselves from the distraction around us and we create space to hear the wisdom and we allow our nervous system to reset and recalibrate. So healing has to happen multidimensionally, and healing has to happen using all of these tools: sacred sound, embodied movement, the voice of the lineage, and deep listening and rest. So I want to walk you through a practice now that you can begin integrating in your life. Because, by the way, nobody is immune to this. Okay, so if you're out there listening and you're like, well, not me, I don't have anything stuck in me from my ancestors. Like, I'm all healed, all good with that. Well, again, I bring you back to the question of, anything that keeps repeating in your life, any patterns that are on repeat. any physical ailments, any psychological messiness in your mind. At the end of the day, nobody is immune, and healing is cyclical, right? So this doesn't mean you haven't done any work to help or heal yourself. No, of course not. But there may be more. There may be more. And this practice that I will walk you through will allow yourself to even discover whether there is more, because you might not be sure. You might be listening and say, oh yeah, I know I've got this or that inherited, ancestrally. Or you might say, I'm not really sure. Either way, this practice is going to help you. So I invite you to do this practice with me now, or you can, you'll have this. You can come back and listen to it at any time. But I'm going to walk you through this practice now. It's really brief, but it's really powerful, really impactful. So I invite you to sit comfortably. Begin to settle in your body. Feel the base of your spine, your tailbone, allow it to root you down into the earth. Give yourself permission to sit up nice and straight, allowing the spine to lengthen and allowing the crown of your head to rise to the sky. Allow your body to start to rest here, becoming a little heavier as it melts into the earth. Bring one hand to your heart and the other hand to your belly. Just start to notice your breathing, and there's no need to change it here. No need to take deep inhales or deep exhales. Just notice the natural ebb and flow of your breath. Letting the silence here be your first medicine, softening any noise around you and within you. Just breathing. Just breathing. Now start to call into your conscious awareness the weight that you've been carrying. This might feel like heaviness in your chest, or tightness in your shoulders, a knot in your stomach. You might sense those sensations as heaviness in your being. When you call into awareness the weight, you might think about weight on your physical body. You might think of symptoms that you've been working with or struggling with. And start to gently ask yourself, is this mine? Or is this something I've inherited? An old grief, a story, a responsibility that was never mine. Is this mine? Is this really mine? So you just start to ask the question and trust whatever answers arise. You don't have to know what they mean. You might see images, colors, shapes, textures, words, sentences. You might hear voice. You might not. You might not hear or see anything right now. That's okay. But ask the question in the holding space of silence, tapping into awareness. You may want to notice where you feel heaviness in your body and bring a hand to that place. And again, ask the question, is this mine? Now I invite you to take a deep inhale in through your nose now, really, really deep. Hold it for a moment. And as you exhale, release a sound, maybe a sigh or a hum or a gentle tone. Don't worry what it sounds like. This isn't performance. This is just the sound of release. So do that again. Inhale in through the nose and exhale with a sound, whatever sound your body needs to make. A sigh, a hum, a song, whatever it is. And take this a few more times. Deep breath in, exhaling a sound. Now take a moment here to tune in to where this heaviness is in your body. And if that heaviness could speak, the next time that you exhale, you're going to allow that heaviness to speak. It may be the same sound you've been making, or it might be something really different. Deep inhale in through your nose. Exhale out of the mouth with the sound. Allowing each breath to loosen whatever has been lodged within you. And do this for as many times as you need to here. You can even pause this recording to do it an infinite number of times without allowing my prompts to stop you. Inhaling light, exhaling sound. Inhaling breath, exhaling the burdens and the heaviness. Taking this as many times as you need to. And when you feel ready, you're going to now give your body permission to start to move. And you may do this sitting, or you may rise to stand. Either way, give your body complete permission now to move. Maybe you're going to gently start swaying, rocking. Maybe your shoulders might naturally start to roll. And really set the intention here that with every movement, that you're shaking off the layers of the ancestral weight. Letting it slide down your arms. Down your fingertips. Letting it shimmy down your legs, offering it to Mother Earth. The earth knows exactly how to compost what you no longer need. So with every sway and rock and roll and circle and spiral, allow the burdens and allow the weight to release down into the earth, giving her what is no longer meant for you. Breathing as you move, allowing your body to oxygenate. Really feeling how with every layer that's removed, you can breathe a little deeper. There's more spaciousness, expansion, releasing. Feeling your heart lighten. Feeling light all around your beautiful sacred vessel as you continue to shake, sway, roll, rock, shimmy, stomp your body's way. However your body is being guided to release right now, allow it. Surrender to it, knowing that you are held. Mother Earth beneath you, Father Sky above you, you are held. as you release. And do this for as long as feels right, not allowing my prompts to stop you. Again, you have this recording. You can press pause and just keep going as long as you want. Allowing your body to move in its own rhythm. Energy moves in waves, waves move in patterns, patterns move in rhythm. Your body is a song. Let it play, let it sing, let it dance. Let it release all of the burdens that are no longer yours to carry. And eventually, in your due time, in your body's way, allow your body to begin to simmer its movements, slowing down even more, till eventually you come to a place of stillness. Place your hands on your heart, saying silently or aloud, I can release what is not mine to carry. I can release what is not mine to carry. Breathing in, I breathe in my own radiant life force. Breathing out, I embody who I truly am beneath the layers. Breathing in, I take in my own radiant life force. Exhaling, I embody who I truly am. Take this as many times as you feel called to. As you do this, feel your breath expand, feel your lungs open, feel your chest widen. Maybe bring your arms out to your side. Take up space that you were meant to take up. Imagine that your ancestors are surrounding you, smiling, blessing you, whispering, thank you, thank you, thank you for setting us free. Anyone whose weight you've been carrying, they are so happy for you to set it free. Their journey was one that allowed you to experience freedom. So returning once more here to silence. Imagine that as you're standing here, a butterfly is landing softly on your shoulder. Your sign that transformation is here. Take one more long, deep, nourishing breath in. Hold it for a moment. And a long, slow exhale out. And when you're ready, open your eyes and return lighter than you were before. What a beautiful practice. One that I have done many times through my life. One that my Grammy invited me to do just again this week. To truly detoxify, clear these ancestral burdens, knowing that this is how I heal the lineage, all those who came before me and all those who come after me. This is my legacy. I hope this has been really helpful for you. I hope this has allowed you to recognize this missing link in your wellness journey. I hope that you were able to do this guided practice right along with me. And I hope that you'll do it many more times. This is yours to keep. This is available to you anytime that you tap into your fields and recognize that you're holding the weight of something that needs to be released. As always, I am here to support this journey. I'm here to light the way on the journey back home to yourself. Reach out to me with questions, concerns, feedback. If you do the practice, get in touch with me. Let me know how it was for you. Please, I love to hear your stories. I love to connect with you heart to heart, soul to soul. I am here for you. This is our rewilding wellness journey. Reach out to me via email, Christy@ChristyNineaccord.com. Reach out to me on my Facebook page. If we're not already Facebook friends, please friend request me in addition to following me so we can truly connect. Read my stories. There are so many ways of connecting with me. I also have my Rooted Remedies wellness guides that will be available. I'll be sharing that information in the next few days. If you'd like to schedule a consultation to find out how I can put together with you your very own rewilding wellness journey, let's do that. I'm here for you. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you next week in Rewilding Wellness Wednesdays. Have a beautiful rest of your day.